This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Greetings, my friends, patriots, lovers of democracy, truth, and justice, believers in peace, freedom, and the American way. Thom Hartmann here with you. So, the worm turns, as they say. The news is getting weirder and weirder. Donald Trump Jr. Now, tell me if I've got this right. It's like sometimes it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. Donald Trump Jr. came out a couple days ago, Saturday, and said, yeah, I met with that Russian lawyer, and we talked about adopting kids, or words to that effect. Actually have the actual statement. He said, this was on Saturday. He said, it was a short introductory meeting. I asked Jared and Paul to stop by. That's Jared Kushner and Paul Manafort. We primarily discussed a program about the adoption of Russian children that was active and popular with American families and was since ended by the Russian government. It was not a campaign issue at the time, and there was no follow-up. I was asked to attend the meeting by an acquaintance, but was not told the name of the person I would be meeting with beforehand. So, okay, a non-memorable meeting. But then the day after, Don Jr.'s account completely changes. And he basically says, collusion with a foreign power, sure, we were willing to consider that. We were willing to do that, apparently. So now, on Sunday, he says, I was asked to have a meeting by an acquaintance I knew from the 2016 Miss Universe pageant with an individual who I thought might have information helpful to the campaign. I was not told her name prior to the meeting. I asked Jared and Paul to attend, but told them nothing of substance. We had a meeting in June 2016. After pleasantries were exchanged, the woman stated that she had information that individuals connected to Russia were funding the DNC and supporting Mrs. Clinton. Her statements were vague, ambiguous, and made no sense. No details or supporting information was provided or even offered. It quickly became clear that she had no meaningful information. And then she starts talking about the Russian children and the Magnitsky Act. And he says, at that point, I interrupted and advised her that my father was not an elected official, but rather a private citizen. And, basically he said that's the end of that. So, there's like two camps on this. I mean, you've got the, Fox and Friends saying, well, what's the big deal? There was nothing, there was no there, and he ended the meeting and got rid of them. And then you've got, all these commentators, mostly on MSNBC, a few on CNN, saying, hey, wait a minute. Didn't he just say that he met with this woman because she said that she had information from a foreign government about a candidate in a U.S. election? Isn't that something that you should call the FBI about? If somebody says to a campaign, I'm here from a foreign government and I'm offering you information. I mean, that's kind of the general protocol, isn't it? It's very strange. So, we'll see how this thing plays out. I've been, in my mind, I've been referring to Trump Sr. as Teflon Don. In fact, I think there was was it John Gotti? I think so. That's my recollection. It was a couple of decades ago. There was a mafioso in New York who just they never were able to catch him, and everybody referred to him as the Teflon Don. Yeah, Troy just Googled it. Yeah, it's John Gotti. And I've been thinking, Trump is sort of the Teflon Don. It's like nothing sticks to him. Everything just rolls off. But this may be, this, and his son, I mean, he's like tweeting all his stuff right now. He should be sitting down talking to a lawyer. Okay, so there's that. Ivanka Trump sat in for her dad at the G20. Everybody is hysterical about this. I'm not sure what the hysteria is. She's his right-hand person functionally. I mean, it arguably could have or should have been Rex Tillerson or Mike Pence or somebody, but it was a meeting where they were discussing policy in Africa, and I don't know. If you can explain that one to me, I'll take it. The Republicans have finally found somebody guilty of voting twice. Yes, they found somebody who committed voter fraud. I mean, George W. Bush spent $74 million in 6 years and had 93 federal prosecutors looking for voter fraud. Couldn't find it. But now the visibility is so high. This woman, she's 56 years old. Her name is Terry Lynn Rote. Nice white lady. Cast a ballot during early voting in Polk County, Iowa. And then, she apparently, now this is just my theorizing. This is not from the story from the AP here that I have in front of me. But, what the story from the AP says is the woman, 56-year-old Terry Lynn Rote, reportedly cast a ballot during early voting in Polk County and attempted to cast a second one at a satellite voting location where she was arrested. Rote told police she voted twice because she believed Donald Trump's claims that the 2016 election would be rigged, and she thought her first ballot would be changed to a vote for Democrat Hillary Clinton, according to CBS News. So, Republicans, you've got your finally, out of 160 million, 150 million, American voters or eligible voters, you found one person who voted twice. And she voted for Donald Trump because she apparently was watching Fox News or, listening to right-wing hate radio, and she believed what they said. That Trump said that the election was going to be rigged. Rose's attorney told the court in January that she believed her client had cognitive limitations and a mental health disorder. This is one of the reasons that, Fox and Friends should be circumspect, shall we say. Sentencing is set for August 15th. They're trying to get her 2 years probation and community service. She could go to prison for 5 years. In February, for example, a Texas mom and non-citizen, this is a second one, this was actually a non-citizen, was sentenced to 8 years in prison for voting in a U.S. election. And after she gets out of prison, she's going to be deported. Now, she was brown of skin. In North Carolina, by contrast, a prosecutor declined to even bring charges against a woman who admitted she voted for Trump on behalf of her deceased mother in 2016. Another white person. No charges. No problem. Oh, everything's good. Incredible. And meanwhile, rooftop solar. Rooftop solar is under assault from the utility lobbyists. And this is pretty amazing. Actually, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here to share with you, from new information on Alzheimer's to the so-called Republican health care bill, the Republican tax cut bill. Poor Mitch McConnell. He's got several Republican senators now who are just like coming right out and saying, "Me? No. Are you kidding?" And so now he's like, "Well, I might have to do it with the Democrats." And the Republicans are like, "Okay." Just like. But if you do it with the Democrats, it's not going to be a $800 billion tax cut for billionaires, unless you can find 2 or 3 really corrupt Democratic members of the United States Senate, or maybe 4 or 5. You might even need 6. And I'm not sure they're there. I frankly don't think they're there at all. Anyhow, we'll be back with more of the news of the day, your calls, and my thoughts on all of the above.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Right after this, coming up on 15 minutes.